Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Mitchell Shire's International Women's Day celebration brunch. From challenge comes change, so let's all choose to challenge, which is this year's International Women's Day theme. We can all choose to challenge and call out gender bias and inequality. We can all choose to seek out and celebrate women's achievements, which is what we're going to do this morning. My name is Rachel McKay, and I'm from Women's Health Goulburn Northeast, and I'm your host this morning. I would like to acknowledge that we are proud to stand beside generations of great women whose work has brought us closer to equality for all, and it's still happening around us today. Mitchell Shire intend that this celebration of International Women's Day, like all events hosted by Mitchell Shire and its partners, is inclusive, anti-discriminatory, and an anti-racist space. In terms of our agenda today, we have a welcome to country from Tangerang Elder Auntie Joanne Honeysett. We've got Mitchell Shire Mayor Rhonda Sanderson will be joining us, and our guest speaker today is Ange Barker, who many will know was actually awarded the Order of Australia Medal in 2019. Afterwards, we actually have a good 10 minutes of questions with Ange. So I really encourage you to put your questions in the Q&A and don't miss your opportunity to ask Ange anything. She said, I'll answer anything. So let's give it a go and see what we can talk about. If you have any technical issues, just pop them in the chat and our behind the scenes people will help you out with that. So I will now, without further ado, hand over to Tangerang Elder Auntie Joanne Honeysett for our welcome to country. Thanks, Jo.
Thank you so much. Hello, everybody. And I'd firstly like to say Happy International Women's Day. What a great day and what a great privilege to be here. I'll begin my welcome. Wawa. Womanjika Tangerang Vik. Welcome to Tangerang country. Hello, my name's Auntie Jo Honeysett. I'm a proud Tangerang woman, traditional owner and elder. I'd firstly like to welcome or to acknowledge and show respect to my elders, past, present and upcoming. Today's my cultural privilege and responsibility to provide you all with a welcome to country. I do this to welcome you all and remind you that this ceremony is grounded in traditional law, L-O-R-E, not L-A-W, and also our cultural practice. We use it as customary practice for greeting, for welcoming, for acknowledging, and for setting the rules for people being on our country, Tangerang country. The area that I stand on today is like all Tangerang country. It's strong in culture. It's connected by clans. It's rich in beauty, as it was for our ancestors long, long ago. Tangerang people are the first people of the rivers and the mountains, and our moieties are Bunjil, the wedge-tailed eagle, and Wa, the crow. So, on behalf of all Tangerang people, I would like to take this opportunity to thank you again for inviting me here today, just to share, I guess, a small part of my culture with you. I think it's a fantastic way to show the connection we as Tangerang people have and still have with both our culture on our beautiful country. And like I say, I'll repeat it again, I love to say, if you look after country, country will look after you. Very proud to be opening this today. What a great day it is. And, you know, from the bottom of my heart, I wish you all well. And it's just a real privilege to be here today. Ningang Godjan, regards. Love to each and every one of you. And thank you again for allowing me to do the welcome to country. Thank you.
Oh, wow. Thanks, Auntie Jo. That was awesome. Really appreciate that. That was just set the beautiful scene for this morning. Thank you.
You're welcome.
This year, Mitchell Shire actually partnered with local business, the Wandong Collective, to curate a collection of International Women's Day gift boxes that could be delivered to your home prior to this event to support local businesses in a COVID-safe way. It was actually the COVID-19 pandemic that inspired this business. Local Wandong resident Beck Barron, who's the owner of Wandong Collective, made upwards of 1,000 reusable face masks during the COVID-19 lockdowns, those initial lockdowns in Victoria. But after seeing other small businesses really struggle, she decided to take her business further and also support other businesses to continue. So Beck opened the Wandong Collective in September last year as a place for local businesses to offer their handmade goods for sale in one location. Since then, the store has accumulated over 60 stockists, of which 90% are from Mitchell Shire, and the vast majority are run by local women and mums. Beck's proudest achievement has been to support these small businesses, particularly so because so many suffered with Victoria's lockdown restrictions. So what a wonderful example of innovation that really links into this year's theme, Choose to Challenge, which certainly Beck did. We hope that you might be enjoying your pre-ordered gift boxes right now. Hold up your and do a bit of a cheers with your tea. If you still want to order a box, you can pick up one in-store at Wandong, or certainly head to their website. You can see it on your screen there, www.wandongcollective.square.site, or look them up on Facebook or Instagram, of course. We also want to let you know that by registering for this event, you went into the draw to win a huge hamper valued at $150 from Wandong Collective, and it's filled with local products from local women. So the winner, watch out your email inboxes, because the winner will receive an email today. So check them out, and congratulations to the winner, and thank you to Beck and all the women who have contributed their handmade goodies for you all to enjoy today. Before I hand over to our Mayor, Rhonda Sanderson, I just want to remind you to put any questions you may have for our guest in the Q&A section, and thank you to Mayor Councillor Sanderson.
Thank you, Rachel. I'd like to acknowledge that Mitchell Shire is on the Wurundjeri and Taungurung country. I'd also like to acknowledge that the Taungurung people, the traditional owners of the land, are the traditional owners of the land I'm working from today. I pay my respects to their elders past, present and emerging, and I thank Taungurung Elder Auntie Joanne Honeysett for the warm welcome to country today. It was fantastic. I'd also like to acknowledge and pay my respects to other traditional owners and their elders who may be joining us here. Okay, welcome to Mitchell Shire Council's International Women's Day celebration. I'd also like to welcome our honoured guest presenter, Ange Barker, OAM, and a special welcome to everyone else joining us here today. Firstly, a little bit about International Women's Day. It's held on the 8th of March every year, and it's a chance to take stock of the work we are doing towards more equal and inclusive communities. It's also an opportunity to challenge gender stereotypes and celebrate women's achievements. At Mitchell Shire, we're very fortunate to have 5 women of the 9 councillors on our council. So this is the first. We have Councillor Christine Banks, Councillor Louise Bannister, Councillor Annie Goble, Councillor Fiona Stevens and myself. So there was a time in local government not so long ago where this would have been very rare, and certainly this is, as I said, a first for Mitchell Shire. Previously we had 3 councillors, and before that was a maximum of 2. So this is wonderful to have the majority of councillors as female this time around. I'm really pleased to see the progress that has been made in recent years to encourage more women to stand for council across the whole state, and we had a record result in the last election last year. We also have many women as part of council's senior leadership team, which is wonderful to see. Now, the theme for this year's International Women's Day is Choose to Challenge. And really, we've seen a lot of that lately, haven't we? A challenged world is an alert world, and from challenge comes change. We can all choose to challenge and call out gender bias and inequality. We are all responsible for our own thoughts and actions all day, every day. As elected representatives and through the CEO of the organisation, we work hard to foster a more balanced community. But unfortunately, Mitchell Shire is overrepresented in family violence figures. We're currently ranked 11th highest for family violence incidents per 100,000 compared to the other 79 local government areas across the state, which is not really something to be proud of. Family violence rates increased by 2.8% when comparing data from September 2019 to September 2020. So this aligns with anecdotal evidence received from our police that rates have increased during the COVID-19 pandemic. At Mitchell Shire, we're committed to preventing family violence in our community by raising awareness, therefore decreasing family violence and creating a community that is safer for all. We annually host the 16 days of activism events that encompass International Human Rights Day as well, and we aim to end gender-based violence. So International Women's Day is a great opportunity to remind us that gender equality isn't just a woman's responsibility. It's up to everyone to support change. It's also an opportunity to learn about how we can do more. One of the ways we help raise awareness is by hosting International Women's Day events such as this. And that brings us here today. I'm absolutely thrilled to have Angela Barker here with us today. As a teenager, Ange was violently attacked by her ex-boyfriend. Her injuries were so severe she had to learn to talk and walk again. So today, Ange is a domestic violence campaigner, educating young people about domestic violence and respectful relationships. Ange's continuing community work saw her awarded the Medal of the Order of Australia in 2019. We're very privileged to have this remarkable woman with us today, and I hope you will join me in welcoming Ange Barker. I'll just do a bit of a clap there. Thank you, Ange.
Very happy International Women's Day to everyone. And thank you, Mayor Sanderson. My speech will play through the computer.
Good morning everyone, thank you to the Mitchell Shire and Auntie Jo Honeysett for her welcome to country, and to Mayor Sanderson and Rachel for their introduction, as well as Natasha Rose for inviting me to speak with you all, and answer any questions you may wish to ask me at the end. I also would like to pay my respect to the Taungurung and Wurundjeri people and their elders past and present. I am very honoured and privileged to be here on this International Women's Day event 2021, especially after the year we have all experienced. Isn't technology wonderful? Enabling us to keep in contact with everyone, no matter the distance and despite restrictions. Some of you may know my story, but I feel I should let you in on a bit of my history, and how I have chosen to challenge many things throughout my life. I was a victim of a horrific assault back in March 7, 2002. It was expected that I would remain in a vegetative state for the rest of my life. The specialists believed it would be a short one, due to complications. I wasn't offered rehabilitation as my parents expected I would be, because victims of crime don't have compensation, So the only place I was offered to live out my days was an aged nursing home in Benalla where there was no specialized brain injury therapist. I was 16 at the time. My parents Helen and Ian and my brother Glenn were devastated with this news. All hope was taken away. Luckily for me, they wouldn't accept this. They got me a short burst of rehab for 4 months where they started the long process of straightening my arms and legs which had twisted with spasticity due to the brain injury I suffered. I did have to stay in a nursing home in Melbourne for just over 2 years, so I could continue with my neuro-trained therapists. My parents knew that I wouldn't be able to get this support in Benalla. It took me 5 months to poke my tongue out past my teeth, 9 months to move my thumb for the first time in 5 years, to get my voice back, and I am still working on my walking with a walking frame, 19 years later. Despite the horrific injuries he inflicted on me, leaving me for dead, and all the medical team's belief that I wouldn't be able to improve any further, with a lot of strength and determination I have proved them wrong. I always try to keep moving forward, and with the help of my family, friends, and therapy team I've been able to keep soldiering on. Though it hasn't been by any means easy. Throughout my journey, since acquiring my severe traumatic brain injury, everything has taken a lot of hard work. Nothing in my life has come easy for me. Everything has taken immense effort, repetition and learning. I thank God each day that I have always been a very headstrong, determined person, which has helped me not listen when anyone says I couldn't achieve my goals. I have done it anyway. I have always challenged myself and taken great pride in upholding my standards as a person and regaining my abilities as a functioning, participating community member. Having to go from hospital to short-term rehab, even though I needed long-term rehabilitation, and then to a nursing home for the aged, sick and dying. Due to this, I have challenged the stereotypes of many people, while also helping by improving the lives of many others in my situation, by speaking out and challenging the government and medical profession about brain injury and other disabilities, making them see that we are still people who are able to achieve many things in life and can contribute greatly to society if we are given the correct help and encouragement, and we can't achieve this living in a nursing home. I have worked for many years with young people in Nursing Homes Alliance to get young people out of nursing home, and I helped them lobby government to bring in the NDIS. I am an ambassador for Summer Foundation for helping to make available the appropriate supportive accommodation for young people leaving nursing homes, and I am on the board of Y House Foundation, who are trying to raise funds to build a rehabilitation home for young people leaving hospital to avoid going to a nursing home. I have raised awareness and challenged students, police and other organizations around the issue of domestic violence. The federal government made an educational DVD as part of the Australia Says No to Violence Against Women campaign about my story, which was sent to every secondary school in Australia in 2004. And is now the core of the Love Bites program, which is available to schools in all states and territories throughout Australia. I have been guest speaking, educating, and raising awareness to people around these issues since 2004, and I have spoken to around 50,000 students, politicians, police and community groups throughout this time. I have had to overcome many hurdles and challenge myself to learn to walk and talk again, regain balance. I have had to retrain my cognitive awareness and keep working on my memory and fatigue. Thanks to training I had with a couple of men called Doing Good Stuff, who then spoke to the National Australia Bank, they interviewed me and employed me 6 years ago for 8 hours a week, which I do in 2 half days. due to fatigue. This was a real achievement for a brain-dead vegetable. One I am very proud of, and I am happy to say I still hold this position as a support analyst today. Recently I started work with the Summer Foundation for 6 months working with others on a project, and I have just been asked to work on another project in the near future with another organization, so I am pushing the boundaries of the understanding of brain injury, and educating others on our actual far-reaching cognitive abilities. As a society we shouldn't judge women on their appearance and physical abilities, because we all hold our own individual strength and ability. How we look, dress, or if we are in a wheelchair does not define us. As women we still have a lot to accomplish in this male-driven, sexist society we are all being forced to live in and conform to. We all need to keep challenging everything that we don't feel applicable to the betterment of society. Doing this could help make many other lives easier. Women through the ages have pushed boundaries, challenged men to make this world a better place for everyone. Life has been a constant battle for dignity since the beginning of time. It is a shame that men don't realize that there are problems, and women have to point them out all the time. As women, I believe we all have a much wider understanding of variations, and how things can be done in a much more inclusive and undeniably better way. We can all use our strength and determination to achieve whatever we want and get over any challenges that are holding us back. I am proud of the person I am, a strong independent woman, and I look forward to the future. I urge you all to challenge the things that are not fair or just in your life, and pursue it with dignity and determination. Thank you again for inviting me here today.
Liz, would you like a cuppa?
Yes, please. Jiggling it to give me extra flavour.
Of course, it's all about the flavor. I just wanna help stop the bullshit that got put on me happening from any other 16-year-old or anyone. No matter what the age is, you can always be affected by domestic violence, which is disgraceful. This proves that the doctors were completely wrong when they told my parents in ICU that I'd be a brain dead vegetable for life, 'cause you're not meant to recover. But I gotta make the most of what I'm stuck with.
My name is Angela Barker. I am very pleased to be sharing what happened to me with you all, as I was a Year 9 student when I began my relationship with my boyfriend, who later showed me he was a moody and aggressive young man. This eventually led to me being a victim of severe relationship violence when I was just a 16-year-old schoolgirl. Despite the horrific injuries he inflicted on me and all the medical team's belief that I wouldn't be able to improve any further, with a bit of strength and determination I have proved them wrong.
Angie's been on a long journey, and it took her 5 years to get her voice back, and poke her tongue out. 5 months to do that, so if her voice is a bit soft today, please let us know if we can't hear it.
Good morning, madam.
Good afternoon.
All right, be pedantic, see if I can. Head up. Thank you. Beautiful. Angie's been dumped in a nursing home because it was felt she had no hope of rehabilitation at all. Her injuries were so severe.
You have to work with your loved ones. You can't, when the doctors take away hope, you've got to believe in your loved ones and just work with them all the time.
There you go. That was awesome. Not bad for a write-off to stay in a nursing home for life.
No bad for vegetable, you mean?
That's what I meant.
Trying to get sound from someone. It's not like a movement you can easily facilitate. It's not like if an arm doesn't work, you can at least passively move that arm. You can't make someone produce a voice.
There was a few times, stuck there laying in the hospital, even though my body wouldn't work. My mind has always been active. I've just been laying there thinking, beep, beep, beep.
She was pretty difficult to manage. She had a lot of behavioural issues, which is very common in someone with a brain injury. She did nearly bite my thumb off once, yep. So it was working on the musculoskeletal problems, it was managing the behaviour, it was working on the neurological side, and she was absolutely terrified of movement as well. So it was very, it was a great challenge. I'd have to say it's been one of the great challenges of my career, I think, working with Ange. There's been no one who has been, I think, more difficult in the early stages, but has also been so rewarding.
The whole thing was really hard and really slow, and I think what Ange taught me over the time was that you just don't give up.
First milestone was probably Ange being able to sit on the plinth unsupported, and that took 2 years. And that was really inspirational. When she could sit there and not fall, it's like, we can do this. It's taken 2 years to get there, but things start improving exponentially once you get the balance right.
We believed in Ange getting better. Jan and Jeff both believed in Ange getting better, and with that strength of everyone believing and really showing Ange that, yes, you can do it, I think that's why Ange did get better. A lot of families aren't encouraged to stick with their loved ones. They're told they're not going to get any better and put them in a nursing home, as were we. Between them, they've just both been the most amazing, couple as a physio and speechy that you could ever have in this world.
But the big movement, the powerhouse, is the lower lobes of so it's your tummy and right across your back. And see what you're doing with your jaw now. So that beautiful smile now, I want you to hold that smile, put your tongue behind the teeth and give you just a short nice. Just really soft lips, gentle smile. What do you think?
Head up. Good, that's it. Yeah, big push. 2.
With her gym instructor now, she is just going leaps and bounds at gym every week when we get videos to us. It's just mind-blowing what she's doing. So
the other week we got one. She's standing up, doing a rowing machine. So she's standing, balancing, but she's also using both hands.
Big lift. That's it. Give me those big, beautiful eyes at the top. Big lift. Up nice and tall. Nice and tall. Right. Good.
I live by myself and my carers come in to work with me because I gotta get into work at 10. I work at the National Australia Bank in the security.
And that's always the worry of, parents as they get older, what happens to their disabled child who's dependent on them? Ange was, no way she was going to stay living at home with her parents. She was going to be independent, which in so many ways is the ultimate goal.
Diana.
Phil Shorten was instrumental in getting the National Disability Insurance Scheme up, and Ange had several meetings with him. And I think in many ways Bill was very inspired by Ange to make this a priority for Australia to look after our disabled people and to give them the best opportunity. And I think Ange has shown that. She works 2 days a week in open paid employment. That's the goal.
I might be disabled, sure, but I am still here, living, breathing. I'm still a person.
Something I loved too was the fast rides at the shows and things. So she'd always do the fast rides, and she wanted to abseil, she wanted to skydive. And I'm thinking, oh, you've already had an injury, why do you want to do this to me?
Now bike riding. What else have you done? Parachute jumping.
This year she got an OAM, which is really, what an honour, and what a, that's just amazing. I'm just so proud of her. And
really, really nice that, you know, she's being recognised for the work she does.
yeah, it's great.
Instead of OAM, it's more like OMG.
Your Excellency, I invite you to present the honours and awards in the Order of Australia. Ms. Angela Michelle Barker, for service to the community through social welfare organisations.
As you all probably know, I'm a victim of domestic violence, and it is not ever acceptable in any of its forms: mental manipulation or physical abuse. Think before you act, and always remember, this world is about respect. You can respect others so they can respect you.
Whoa, thanks, Ange. That's just incredible. That was, yeah, I have those mixed emotions. I go from getting really distressed to I couldn't stop smiling at the end. My face is hurting. So yeah, I just love that clip. I think people who are joining us this morning, just share it far and wide. It's such an inspiration. I just wanted to feed back to you some comments. Wonderful to hear about your recovery, Ange, but can you give your mum's heart a rest on the daredevil antics? Lots of love or lots of laughs. So I'm sure Helen would appreciate that. Ange, this is another comment. Ange, I want to tell you, as a personal survivor of domestic violence and a parent of a child with a disability, you should be applauded for showing what is possible. I love that you are educating children in school, as this is where education around domestic violence needs to begin. Absolutely. I think we definitely agree with that. Someone else has just said, I have goosebumps. Thanks, Ange. You are extraordinary. But thank you for those comments. So we've got a few questions for you. The first one is really interesting, I think. This is the question, and I won't name who's written them because I think we need to keep some confidentiality. So here we go. And throughout your recovery, was there a word or a phrase or something you would think about that got you through the really tough times?
probably just gotta keep going. Top it out, girl. You can do it.
So there wasn't a particular phrase or anything that you thought of? Because I know that throughout that it was quite a bit of a theme that you were doing this also for other women and other people, young people. Was that a driver for you too?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. I've got another question here. Thank you, Ange, for sharing your story with us. And I really enjoy hearing about your many achievements. I'm interested to know more about how you've used technology to get what you want done. I think we're all interested in this one. We often hear about the negatives of technology, but I'm interested in how women can use technology to our advantage and to address the inequalities we face.
Well, I got onto a program called Read and Write Gold, which like I had written that what read that of my computer, and that gave me my initial voice. And in a sense, that gave me my initial power and independence.
And how long have you had that for? I imagine that was quite a really important step to have access to technology like that.
It was when about 2006 or 7.
Okay, I wondered whether it was more recently than that, so that's fantastic.
Can you all hear me and understand me?
I can.
Good to know.
It's so good to see you. Thank you. That's really interesting. I honestly, is there new technologies that have come out? Has that technology actually upgraded since you had it since 2006?
Yes, it has.
Yeah.
It's improved
a lot.
And I use social media to talk to friends and people.
Yeah, that's the interesting part, isn't it? That the person that asked this is, we often hear about the negatives of technology and social media too, but this is a real positive too, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
So we've got another question here. Thank you, Ange. We've got another one. So this one's interesting too. They're all interesting questions. How did you move yourself out of the negativity and behavioural issues that you had in the early stages of your recovery to the positive and inspirational person you are today?
With a lot of help from my mom and just sort of changing my thought process. And, just making myself choose to see things in a much more positive light, which was made easier by as I improved and I could see, I wasn't gonna be stuck in a hospital forever if I put all my hard work into my rehabilitation.
It seemed, I know in the clip, Ange, you said, I've chosen to challenge many things in my life. And I think that that sort of drive and determination, strength and determination, you already kind of had. And so it was just choosing to continue that and to choose to challenge lots of things, hasn't it, for you? And I think that added to that, you've got this incredible family that were like, hang on, you can't keep our daughter down. You can't put her there.
Absolutely, because I knew who I was. I've always been strong, big-headed, and determined, and wasn't going to take none of the instructions.
I think too, one of the things that I think of when I see that clip is, and particularly now, which Mayor Sanderson talked about, was speaking out and challenging. And, with recent times, it's that thing about speaking out even if you're terrified. And I think that's something that clip gives to everybody as well. Like, it is challenging to speak out, but please do it. And yeah, and like I said, you really did it for other people, for other women, and particularly for young women as well. I've got another question here. Sorry, I interrupted you then.
Oh, I was going to say, I did it just to show everyone, like, you've got to speak out, because it'll only work to your benefit. And positivity, like, bring positivity back into your life. Can you hear me, right?
Yeah, I can. No, you've dropped out. Can you hear me? No, I can't hear you. Sorry, Anne. Maybe put in the chat. I can hear Ange okay, though.
Dad would say, like, when I was getting fed up with it, wanting to give up, he would always say, look, Ange, we're only given things we can handle, so just handle it and help others.
That's so cool. I love it. I've got another question. I've actually got another 2 questions. So I'd like to ask you this one.
I love questions.
I know. And your dad said to me last week, "Oh, she'll just answer anything." And I was like, great. So here we go. Thank you for sharing your story, Ange, and for being a tireless advocate. What is the next big reform you would like to see from government?
So strong, good leadership and initiative and show that they actually care about the people in this country, especially the women, and not to be sexist or stand for any abuse or discrimination.
Ange, I think that, sorry, I interrupted you again.
Well, I was just going to say, which is all that we're seeing at the moment, isn't it? Disgraceful.
Yeah. And I think what you're saying actually leads really nicely into probably the last question we can do, and that what you've just said sort of leads into this. This person said, "Thank you, Ange, extraordinary. It brought tears of joy and sadness that you and others experiencing or experience domestic violence have to suffer. I'm curious to understand how young people, and particularly young boys, respond to your story when you present at schools."
I think they feel a lot of shame, and so they're always very sorry and even apologetic, like they sort of genuinely feel responsible, which isn't what I want, but it's
I think that's part of the big important work that you're doing, is getting to those young people at that age is so critical, isn't it?
yeah, just opening their eyes. And the girls often come and disclose to me, like, and that is like, it's so difficult to have those young girls coming up, like, telling me, "Oh, my boyfriend often strangles me," and so on. Like, it just breaks my heart.
Yeah. Yep.
Or they're abused at home by their dad, or more often stepdad.
I think that what you've just said would shock a lot of people that are watching this morning, that you're getting those disclosures, but it just will really highlight exactly how widespread this problem, this epidemic, if we like, is. Yeah.
And it's disgraceful.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, how does anyone these days at least think that it's okay and acceptable. Like we've all got brains and mouths to express ourselves.
That's a good point, isn't it? That people who are doing these behaviours need to respect themselves as well as other people. A really good point.
Yeah.
Well, Ange, thank you so much. I know personally I could talk to you for another hour, and maybe we need to do that another time. But we'd like people's feedback. We'd also like to thank you so much for this morning. It is Choose to Challenge, and I hope everybody today chooses to challenge something, maybe today, this week, this month. There's certainly a lot of marches coming up. March for Justice next Monday across the country. So if you can get along to one of those marches, go for it. Just in terms of support, there's a number of support services available locally and statewide, and we really encourage you to reach out if you need to. Also check in with anybody else. It might be your friends or your family who may need support as well. So please give them these contact numbers. You can see there some of them. Safe Steps is a statewide service, 24-hour service. Nexus Primary Health, the Bridge Youth Service and Men's Referral Services are all available to offer support to yourselves or anyone you may know. So last but not least, I really want to give a big shout out to the Y House Foundation that Ange talked about before, who she supports. She's actually on the board, who support and advocate for young people living in or at risk of living in nursing home care and aged care. It's a really, really critical service. So we know, donations are always welcome to this foundation, and we really need to support these young people that to not basically languish in institutions that are just not made for young people. So I'd really encourage you to Google them and donate if you can. A huge thank you to Tangarang Elder Auntie Joan Honeysett for that warm welcome to country. That was just perfect. Mitchell Shire Mayor, always Rhonda Sanderson, thank you so much. Guest presenter Ange Barker, OAM or OMG, as you said in that clip. I thought that was great. And to those behind the scenes of today's event, a lot of people put into to bring this to you, and thank you so much for those who be behind the scenes. Thanks to everyone who joined us today for your time and support of International Women's Day. Our guest presenter Ange, we're going to think about you. We're going to be doing some hard stuff and challenge some stuff. Thank you so much for living the life that you do. And on this day and always, may we choose to challenge gender bias and inequality, and choose to seek out and celebrate women's achievements, which we have over the last couple of days. So get to the marches on Monday across the country, and thank you everybody for today. Cheers from my cup of tea. Cheers, Ange.
Absolutely. Thank you all.
Take care, everyone.